Okay, so let me go back for a second to the front elevation, and I want to give it this height. So I want to get ready when I create my actual box to give it a correct height. So basically I'm just going to create another reference plane around this. This is, oh yeah, it's 116. Yeah, it's a round number, so I'm gonna leave it like that, 116. That's gonna be fine. Right. Perfect. So let me go back to the top view. Now, let me point this out. I can create it from here also. Don't get me wrong. I can create it, sketches from here and extrude it to the back. That is possible. But I think it's easier if we go from the if I do it from the top view, because I don't have the picture. It's much easier to pick up the lines. But don't get me wrong. You can do it from the front view. No need to come here. So let's do it. Let's do it. So create. We are here. Create. We have a number of things we can do. And then right here, the first one on the top, the first one to the left is the extrusion. So let's hit on it. Now, once we hit on it, we get into this sort of a sketch mode. Now, what does it mean? It means that here you have your drawing tools, right? So you get to draw anything you want. But until you hit either this check mark or the X that basically cancel whatever you did, you are trapped in here. What do I mean I'm trapped in here? Well, look at this. Everything's grayed out. There's nothing you can do. You are just trapped. So do whatever you need to do, and then you hit either the cross if you don't like what you did, or the actual check mark to go ahead. Okay, but yeah, so that's how this is going to work. Very, very important. Okay, so let's go for it. So we are inside the extrusion. Right here is a little highlight that is telling me where I am right now. I have a number of drawing tools right here I can use. I can pick the lines, I can draw this manually, and I have actually a rectangle tool. I think I'm going to use for that. I'm going to go for this. So go hit one corner and hit the other corner. Okay, now that we have here, now that we are here, we have these options with these little actually locks. Basically what I'm going to do is lock my geometry to my reference lines. Once I do that, I just can hit OK here. Now, I could have given the actual height in here, but I purposely didn't do it, and I'm going to show you why. Because if you go to the front, now you see your boxes right here. Let me change this into the shaded mode so we can see actually where it is. It is right there. So as I mentioned, is at the moment you create this thing, you can give it the height, which is in this case is, I remember 116 or something like that. But I purposely again decide not to do it. Why? Because I want to tie my geometry to this reference plane, and it's very difficult to do it when you give it when the top of your geometry and the reference plane coincide in one single line. It's very, very difficult to do. So I always want to do this one in two steps. So I create the geometry, I give it any height or the height that is actually by default, and then what I'm going to do is going to use the align tool. The align tool is AL, and then I'm going to first hit my reference plane from the top of the box, and then I'm going to hit the size of the box that I want to align, and give it the right height. And as, in addition to that, I'm going to lock the height of my box to the reference plane. So now I'm done. If you go to the 3D, let's see what we create. 3D view. We can go from here. Sorry, view. There you go. We create a beautiful box right here. And change this to consistent color. So that's what we create. Okay, great. So that's we said originally we have 4 pieces, 1 down, 3 more to go. Let's go back to the front view and let's actually work on one of these pieces. The good news is the 4 of these ones are the same, so we do only one and then we're gonna see how we can copy this around. Okay, now this one is also going to be an extrusion, right? I'm basically going to create a profile like this, and then I'm gonna extrude this to the back, right? Something like that. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. Okay, but first I need to do a couple of things. I need to actually see, because as you can see, the foot it doesn't have the same width of my box. So let me put this in a wireframe, and I wanted to measure this one and see actually. Let me see up to here. I'm going to actually create a reference plane just like I did for the rest. So I'm going to create a reference plane somewhere here. I'm going to eyeball my the edge of it. I think I don't think it's straight, so let me do it again. Create reference plane, and I'm just going to eyeball the whole things, and this is fine. Make sure it's straight, right? Okay, so let's see how far it is from here. 92, 93.7. Let's make it 98. So make it a round number. Yeah, so 98. Okay, so let me go to the top and replicate this one. If you go here to the top, that's the 98. So I'm going to create some reference plane at a 98 offset to it. I'm gonna pick a line, so here, here, and here. Good. So let me go to the front view now, and it's right here. Perfect. So I'm gonna work with this one right here. Same technique. Create, and I'm gonna hit extrusion. So basically I'm going to outline the profile. So let me start it. So I'm gonna start with a line here, somewhere here, and I'm gonna go straight. Once I go straight, I'm gonna change for this arc right here. Revit is not the easiest thing in the world to work with curves, okay, with arcs, so you have to be patient. There, that's that. Continue with the arcs up to maybe here. Change back to lines. Pretty similar to working with polylines in AutoCAD, right? Then I'm gonna make sure I hit the ground. Hit the ground. Continue up to here. Go up a little bit. Change back into a arc, and then finish with a line and make sure I hit the end point right there. Okay, man, you know, close enough. Okay, yeah, close enough. So I think I'm fine with it. I can live with that. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna hit this again. The extrusion end is right here. Extrusion end and extrusion start. I don't care about these two. I'm just going to hit here, okay, and then I'm gonna go back to the top view and adjust these two values manually. So I'm going to hit in here, and then I'm going to go to the top level, and I can see right here my foot is in here. So I'm gonna make sure I align this side here and this side in here. So let's do it. AL, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this. Did not save this thing. You know what? I actually forgot to lock them, so I'm just gonna do it again. AL, lock. AL, hit and lock, and I believe I'm fine. Let me go to the 3D view and see where we are. Yes, I also forgot to lock this one right here as I was creating. So what I'm gonna do is go back to the front view, select my foot, and I'm gonna go hit edit extrusion. Once I go edit extrusion, I'm going to hit AL, hit this, then hit this. Oh, let me go back to the top. Okay, so let me go back. Sometimes when you create these things, it can be a bit difficult then to edit. So let me go back to the front view. Let's try it again. Select this and go edit extrusion. Now that I'm editing the extrusion, I'm gonna go AL for align. I'm gonna hit this line and then hit this one. And now I get my little lock. Once I've done that, I agree. And let's see where we are. Right. So I need to get this one here, here, and here. For that, I can copy this one, I can rotate, but also I can use a tool that is called Array. Array is also, for those that are AutoCAD user, can be familiar, right? So Array is going to allow me to copy this one, and if we use the polar array, it would allow me to actually pick a pivot and copy and rotate this one all together at the same time, and also choose how many versions, how many copies, how many items do I want at the end of the day. Okay, so let's do it. Let's go to the top view. I'm gonna start working with that. Okay, now in this case we are in luck because I guess we can pick this thing as a pivot point. We see, I don't quite remember if it allow me to this one. If not, we're gonna have to draw a line here and make sure we pick the center of the box, right? So we see if I can pick this as a pivot point, right? This is an intersection. Okay, so let's go for the array. The array is it's a bit difficult to use. So let me select it right here, and on the actual modify panel, the array, it is right here. To hit array, the first thing I wanted to do here is make sure it's a radial or polar array as we know it in AutoCAD. Now, as default, Revit is giving me the center of my piece as a pivot point. I don't want that. To get loose, I'm gonna hit the space bar. Once you hit the space bar, you can relocate this point anywhere you want. In this case, I want this one. So once I do that, then I'm gonna go number. I want 4 of items, and then I'm gonna go for the second. Okay, so I'm gonna pick here one time, and then I'm gonna show Revit where I want my second item to be. I want it to be here, and I think it did it. So it asked me again if I want 4. I think that's fine. I'm gonna hit enter, and then I finished. Let me see.